Hi everyone, it's Hannah. Welcome to Pilates by Hannah. So today I just wanted to run through a practice which I love. It's called Stretch and Unwind, and it's a low energy flow that's just gonna ground the body, ground the breath, and really let us focus on how the body is feeling coming out of one busy week and going into another busy week. So we're gonna start in seated. And find a position that's comfortable for you. It might be with your legs crossed, it might be with your legs open, or with your knees bent in crook. Just find a position that's comfortable for you. And then we're just going to close our eyes here. And we're just going to start with a little bit of alignment, a little bit of mindfulness, focusing on the breath, focusing on how the body feels, starting today's practice. Just take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Just letting go of everything from the past week. Exhaling that stagnant energy so we can breathe some new life into the week coming and into today's practice. Now we're going to start bringing some movement into the body. You can open your eyes or keep them closed if you like. We're just going to start by bringing our hands down to our sides and inhaling as we lift our arms overhead, reaching the fingers towards the ceiling, and exhale as we lower the hands back to the mat. Just taking a few more here. Taking one more movement here. And then we're going to start bringing some flexion into the spine. So bringing your hands down by your side, then sweeping them out in front of you as if you're hugging a beach ball or a tree. Feeling the shoulder blades pulling apart, creating space in the upper back. A slight rounding of the back. Bringing the crown of your head slightly forward, and then exhaling, opening the chest, bringing the arms behind us, and forward bend again. Active arms, starting to switch on the chest and the back, opening up, and exhale, hugging that tree again. Give your head and neck a little bit of a shake out. See where the body is holding tension. We'll do one more here. Opening up, lifting the chest. And exhaling, rounding the back. Sweeping the arms in front of us. Dropping the gaze into our lap. And then bring the hands back down to the side, restack the spine, crown of the head lifting tall to the ceiling. You might just want to take a few little shoulder rolls here. We're going to plant our left hand on the mat next to our hip, sweep our right hand up overhead and bend down to the left. Feeling that length opening up through the right side of the body. Sweeping that right arm back overhead, planting it on the mat, the right side of our hip, and sweeping the left arm overhead. Again, feeling that stretch down the left side. And we're just going to run through a few more here. Walking your stabilizing hand slightly away from the body as we warm up, just to deepen that stretch. Inhaling as we lift up, windmill the arms overhead, and exhaling as we sink into that stretch. To deepen that stretch even further, you can come down onto the forearm of your stabilizing hand. You may find that one side of your body is slightly tighter than the other, and that's to be expected. Take one more breath here, and then we're going to sweep both of our arms up overhead, reaching the fingers tall, and then bring them down to our hips. Again, just take a slight shoulder roll. We're going to bring some rotation into the spine now. So taking our left hand, we're going to plant that on the mat behind us. We're going to bring our right hand over to our left knee and gaze just over that left shoulder towards the back of the mat. Feeling that rotation through the spine. And then bringing your head back to center. Bring your right hand onto the mat behind you. Your left hand over onto your right knee. Gaze over your right shoulder. And exhale. And we're going to run through a few more here. Bringing your head to center first. And then sweeping your arms round. And then turning your head to gaze over your left shoulder. You're going to feel this stretch starting at the crown of the head, running all the way down the side of the neck, down through the shoulder, the obliques in the side body, down into your hip. Just take one more on each side now. Seeing if you can deepen the stretch slightly by just levering your hand against your knee and pulling and pushing your body round slightly. And then unwinding, coming back to center, and again lifting the arms overhead, reaching the fingers tall to the ceiling, and bringing them back to the mat next to us. Now we're going to just roll over onto our all fours here, in the middle of the mat. When we're on all fours, we want to have our fingers spread wide into the mat, creating a nice solid base. We want our shoulders to be stacked directly over our elbows and our wrists and actively pushing us out of the mat to activate the muscles across the chest and the upper back. The lower body, we want our knees about hip width apart, weight spread equally over left and right knee. And you can just take a slight rock of the hips here, minimizing the movement until you find stillness. Hips stacked directly over the knees, a nice 90-degree angle between the joints, and then feet just running parallel, resting down on the mat. We're going to take some breaths here, just to settle the body into this position. And then we're going to start circling the body, just gently over the hands, just to warm up the wrists. This is just preparing the upper body for some movement and some weight bearing. We're going to be on all fours for the next few exercises. So this is a really nice way to just start bringing some movement into the muscles, just telling the muscles that they're going to start working soon. When you've done a few in that direction, just change the direction, making the circles slightly bigger. If you want, you can turn your hands out to the side and do a few circles here. Again, just warming the wrists. And then again, if you like, you can walk your hands so your fingers are pointing back in towards your knees. And just take a few small circles here. Do whatever is comfortable for you. And then walk your hands back round so your fingers are facing the top of the mat. We're going to start bringing some movement into the lower body now. So planting your weight into your right knee, lifting your left knee off the floor. Start drawing some circles out to the side with that knee. This is going to start mobilizing that hip joint, readying us for the next few exercises. Just start your circles nice and small, and then as you start to warm up into the movement, you can make them slightly bigger. It's really important to try and keep the rest of your body as still as possible here, just so we're isolating the movement to that hip joint only. And then when you've done a few in this direction, just change the direction. Again, starting them nice and small. And then making them gradually bigger. Do one more here, and then place that knee back on the mat. We're going to extend our left leg out towards the back of the mat and rock our weight back slightly, feeling that stretch down the extended leg. Remembering to breathe. We're going to hold this stretch for a few more breaths. And then we're going to lift that left leg to about hip height. Cross it over behind us. Plant it on the right side of the mat. Taking your gaze over your right shoulder and feeling the left side of your body just opening up, and especially feeling that space that's created through the ribs and the obliques here. It's a really nice stretch for that waist. Think about pushing your heel away from you to just deepen that stretch. And then we're going to bring our head back to center, lift that leg, bring it round back behind us and out to the left side, about in line with our hip, wherever is comfortable for you. We're going to plant that foot on the floor and sink the hips back into a child's pose with that leg extended. Relax the leg here. Don't lock the knee and stress the quad. Just relax and drop into that stretch down the inside of that left leg. Drop the head, relax the neck. And take a few breaths here. And we're going to rise back up onto our hands. We're just going to repeat this rainbow movement a few times. So lifting that left leg, crossing it behind us, planting it on the right side of our mat, taking our gaze over the right shoulder and pushing down into that heel. Feeling that extension through the calf, the hamstring, the left side of the glute, up the waist, space opening up in the ribs and the intercostal muscles, up through the shoulder, the left side of the neck to the crown of the head. And then we're going to bring the head back to center, lifting that leg, sweeping it behind us, back in line with our hip, planting the foot and sinking the hips back. Breathing into the stretch. Take one more breath here. And we're going to lift back up onto the hands and we're going to repeat that once more. Lifting the left leg, crossing it behind us, taking it slightly further away from the body if you can, just to deepen that stretch. And then the gaze over the right shoulder. And then taking one more breath here, bringing the head back to center, lifting that leg, bringing it in line with the hip, sinking down. And you can walk the hands towards the top of the mat, slightly further away from the body, just to deepen that stretch. Again, relaxing the head, bringing the chest down to the mat. And just breathing into the stretch. Taking one more breath here, and then we're going to lift back up onto our hands, lift that leg, bring it behind us, and bring our knee back into tabletop. Now we're going to repeat those exercises on the other side now. So taking the weight into your left knee, lifting your right off the mat, and starting to draw those hip circles again. Starting the circles nice and small, as that hip joint warms up. Again, keeping the rest of the body as still as possible. And then when you've done a few in this direction, just change the direction. Starting the circles small and then making them gradually bigger as that hip joint warms up. Take one more circle here, and then plant that knee back on the floor. Then we're going to go back into those rainbows. So extend that right leg towards the mat. And first we're just going to rock the weight back, feeling that extension down the leg, pushing the weight into the heel. Then we're going to come forward, lifting that right leg to about hip height. Cross it behind us, planting it onto the left side of the mat, and taking the gaze over the left shoulder, pushing down into that heel, feeling the length through the calf, the hamstring, the right side of that glute, up the waist and the obliques, through the ribs and the intercostal muscles, across the shoulder and the upper back, and up that right side of the neck, all the way to the crown of the head. Remembering to breathe. Then we're going to lift that leg, bring it back behind us, over to the right hand side in line with our hip, planting the foot and sinking the hips back into that child's pose with that leg extended to the side. Dropping the head and chest down to the mat, just breathing into that stretch on the inside of the thigh. Inhaling and just lifting back up to the hands. We're going to lift that leg, bring it behind us to the left side of the mat, gaze over the left shoulder, sinking down into that heel, opening up the side body. We're going to lift that leg, bring it back over to the right side, planting the foot and sinking the hips back. And then rising back up onto our hands. We'll just do one more of each. So lifting that leg, passing it behind us. Again, stepping it slightly further away from the body if you can. Taking that gaze over the left shoulder. Sinking that heel down to the floor. Just deepening that stretch. Gaze back to the centre, lifting that foot, passing it over to the right, sinking the foot, and pulling the hips back into that child's pose. Again, you can walk your hands towards the top of the mat if you just want to deepen that stretch down the back. Dropping the head and the chest down towards the mat, just relaxing the upper body. Taking one more breath here. And then we're going to rise back up onto our hands. Lifting that leg, passing it behind us, and then bringing that knee back into 4-point kneeling. Just have a little bit of a shake and a twist here. Take whatever movement your body needs. And then grab your blocks. Just put them either side at the top of your mat here. We're going to need them for the next flow, which is going to be hamstrings and hip flexors. So we've worked the inside of the thigh, we've worked the hips, and now we're going to go onto the front and the backs of the legs. We're going to tuck our toes, lift our knees and pull our hips back into downward dog. Just pedal the feet out here, sway the hips. Take whatever movement you need to get comfortable. And then we're going to plant the weight through our right foot, lifting our left leg up into split dog, toes pointed, feeling that stretch down the back of the right leg. And then we're going to bring that left knee into our chest, pushing up onto the toes of the right leg as we roll forward, and then planting that left foot between our hands. Bringing the blocks in now. And we're just going to rock our weight back and forth in this low lunge, just settling the body into the position. And then we're going to drop that right knee down to the mat, untuck the left toes, and just readjust the blocks to wherever you feel you need them. Lifting the chest, crown of the head pulling tall to the ceiling, sinking the hips forward, and just opening up that stretch down the front of the right leg, opening up the hip flexors, and breathing. We're going to pull our hips back, straightening that left leg, flexing the foot, toes pointed to the ceiling. Feeling that length down the back of that left leg, behind the knee and up the hamstring. Again, just breathing into the stretch. And we're going to run through these stretches twice more. Bending that front knee, bringing the hands and the blocks forward, sinking the hips down, opening the chest up, crown of the head pulling tall, shoulders pulling down away from the ears, and shoulder blades pulling into each other, just to lift that chest even more. Feeling that length down the front of the right leg. And then pulling the hips back, straightening that left leg, flexing the foot, toes to the ceiling. To deepen the stretch, think about lifting your hips and bringing your head forward over your toes. This keeps your chest nice and lifted and keeps the activity down the back of that leg. You don't want to be collapsed over it. Think about lifting up. And we'll run through this once more, bending that front knee, bringing the weight forward, sinking the hips down, lifting the chest, shoulders down away from the ears, shoulder blades pulling into each other, collarbones smiling, crown of the head reaching tall. And then pulling the hips back, straightening that leg, foot flex, toes to the ceiling. Again, lifting the hips, bringing the head forward over the toes, chest open. And then we're going to bend that leg, bring the weight forward. Just move the blocks out of your way here. Plant your hands either side of the foot, tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee, and just rocking again in this low lunge. Just releasing the muscles we've just worked and stretched. Then we're going to step our left foot back into plank. We're going to hold this plank for a minute. Pushing through the shoulders, shoulder blades strong, pulling apart from each other. Core engaged, glutes engaged, pushing out through our heels. And then we're going to pull the hips back into that downward dog. Just adjust the feet if you need to. Pedal the feet out. Sway the hips. Take whatever movement you need. Dropping the head and the chest down to the mat. We're going to plant the weight through our left foot, lifting our right leg up to split dog. Again, toes pointed, feeling that stretch deepen down the left leg. Then we're going to bring our right knee into our chest, push up onto the toes of our left foot, roll our weight forward, and plant our right foot between our hands. Again, bringing your blocks in and just rocking the weight back and forth in this low lunge. Just settling the body into this position. Then we're going to drop that left knee, untuck the toes, adjusting the blocks if you want to. Sinking the hips forward, opening the chest, shoulders pulling down away from the ears, crown of the head reaching tall to the ceiling. Just breathing into this stretch as the left side of the hip just opens up. Going to bring the hips back, straightening that front leg, flexing that foot, toes up to the ceiling. Feeling that stretch through the calf, the hamstring and the glute. Bending that knee, bringing the weight forward, planting the hands, sinking the hips, lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders down. Just breathing into the stretch. Pulling the hips back, straightening that front leg, flexing that foot, toes to the ceiling. Again, think about lifting the hips and bringing your head forward over your toes to deepen that stretch down the back of the front leg. We'll just run through one more of each of those, bringing the weight forward, seeing how far you can sink your hips and lift your chest now. Paying attention to where in the body is holding on to tightness. Is it the hip flexor which we're stretching? Or is it lower down in the leg? Is it the knee that's not quite allowing you to drop? Is it your shoulders that want to hunch? Is it your neck that's not allowing your gaze to be forward and the crown of your head to lift? And just push the breath into that area, telling the body that it's okay to let go. And then bringing the weight back for the last time. Flexing that foot, toes to the ceiling, hips lifted, head forward, chest open. Again, which part of this position is your body holding on to? Is it your ankle that's not allowing your foot to flex? Is it your calf that's a bit tight? Maybe it's your knee. Maybe it's your hamstring or your glute. Again, just saying to the body, it's okay. We're not going to push it. Just breathing into that area, directing your energy to those pain points. And then bringing your weight forward again. Moving the blocks just to the side of your mat. Planting your hands. Tucking your left toes. Lifting your left knee. And just taking a rock back and forth here in this position. And we're going to step our right foot back to our high plank. Again, we're going to hold here. Shoulders strong, hands pushing into the mat, core engaged, belly button to spine, glutes squeezing, weight pushing through the feet. And then lift the hips back into that downward dog. Again, if you need to just walk your feet to where's comfortable. And just breathe here. We're going to drop the knees to the mat. Just come back to our 4-point kneeling position. Again, just sway the hips and the shoulders. Take whatever movement you need. And then we're going to bring some rotation into the spine again. Planting our weight through our left hand. Lifting our right hand up to the ceiling. Fingers reaching tall. And then we're going to exhale, dropping down, just threading that needle. Feeling the shoulder blades opening in this position as the right hand just pulls away from us along the floor. And then we're going to push back up onto our hand and lifting our right arm again. Think about having one long line from the right fingertips down the arm, across the shoulders and the chest, down the left arm, pushing into the mat. And then exhale, dropping down again. We'll just do one more here. Lifting up, opening the chest to the side of the room. Gaze up towards our top fingers. And then exhale, dropping down, threading that needle. Just breathing. Walking the left hand out to the top of the mat, if you want to, which is just going to open up that left side of the body slightly. Walking that left hand back into the body. Just pushing back onto all fours. Again, taking a slight bend and twist, getting comfortable. And we're just going to repeat that on the other side. So planting the weight through the right hand, lifting the left hand up to the ceiling. Fingers reaching tall. And then exhale, dropping that left hand under our right. Dropping the left shoulder blade and the left cheek down to the mat. Just melting here. Rising up. Opening that left arm up again, chest open to the ceiling, gaze up to that left hand, and exhaling as we drop down again. That left hand pulling away from the body, pulling the shoulder blades apart, creating space across the back. Just breathing into this position. And then lifting up once more, fingers reaching tall. Again, thinking about that long line. From the fingertips, down the arm, across the shoulders, pushing through the right hand. And exhaling, dropping that left arm again. Walking that right hand out to the top of the mat, creating length down the right hand side of the body. Walking that right hand back into the body, pushing up onto all fours. Again, taking a slight twist, getting comfortable. We're going to come back sitting on our heels. We're going to swing the legs round into a seated position. Again, options for this next stretch: to have your knees crossed in front of you, to have your knees out in crook, or to have your legs long in a V shape. If you've got quite tight hamstrings and hip flexors, you might want to take a block, and you can just sit on the block, which is going to take the load out of those hamstrings and hip flexors. So let's just think about our alignment and our breath again for a second as we start to close the practice. crown of the head reaching tall to the ceiling. Shoulders pulling down away from the ears, chest open to the front of the room. Hips and pelvis nice and stable. Legs long, feet just slightly flexed, creating some tension down the posterior chain, up the legs. Bringing your hands just to the mat in front of you, in between your legs. We're going to take an inhale. On our next exhale, just walk the hands out along the mat in front of you. Keeping your gaze just to the top of your mat. Try and think about having a nice straight spine here. And just breathing into this stretch. We're going to walk the hands back into the body. Walk them out along the left leg. Again, think about having a nice straight spine. It's just going to open up the spine, the muscles down the back. And as we keep our shoulders drawn down away from the ears, it's just opening up that chest and the muscles across the front of the chest and the back. Walking the hands back up that leg and over to the right leg. And doing exactly the same here. A nice straight spine. And walk the hands back up the leg. And now we're going to introduce some spinal flexion. So this time think that you're going to be rounding over a barrel on your lap, creating a nice rounding of the top part of the spine here. So again, walking your hands out along the mat as you bring your head forward, creating that nice rounding of the upper back, and just dropping the head into the chest. Feeling the back opening up, the shoulder blades pulling apart slightly, creating space. Walking the hands back into the body. We're going to do the same across the legs now. Walking the hands down the left leg. Again, tucking the chin to chest, creating that rounding through the back. Walking the hands back up the leg and over to the right, creating that space between the shoulder blades, dropping the head, the length down the back of the neck and through the upper spine. And walking the hands back into center. Now, if you want to repeat one of those two stretches, either with the spine straight or the spine rounded, do so. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, you can join me and we're going to bring the arms into the movement. So we're going to walk the hands out, down the left leg, planting our left hand somewhere on our leg between our knee and our ankle, depending on where's comfortable for you. We're going to take our right arm and lift it overhead, bringing our hand down towards our foot. Again, just find a position that's comfortable for you. And you're going to feel the right side of the body opening up. Just breathing into this stretch. Take the gaze under the armpit to the ceiling slightly. It's just going to keep your chest lifted. And then windmilling that arm back down, walking that left hand back into the center. We're going to do the same on the other side, walking the hands down, planting that right hand somewhere on the leg, and lifting the left arm up. Think about bringing the fingers to the toes. Gaze under the armpit, opening up that side body through the waist. Windmilling that hand back, walking that hand in. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together to a nice butterfly pose here. If you want, you can bring a block under each knee to support your knees slightly. And again, pick a position that's comfortable for you. If you want your feet slightly further out or slightly further in, do whatever your body needs. Find a position for your hands that's again comfortable for your body. Some people prefer to have their hands on their knees. Some people prefer to hold their toes or their ankles. Just find a position that's comfortable for you. And then we're just going to start taking some small upper body circles over our feet. And then once you've done a few in that direction, just change the direction. Nice and slow circles. And then restack the spine, drawing the crown of the head to the ceiling. And then we're just going to fold over our feet. Just relax here for a breath. And then walking the hands back into the body, restacking the spine. And again, you can either cross your legs, bring your knees out to a V crook, or out in front of you, whatever is comfortable for you to finish this practice. We're going to bring our hands to our knees, crown of the head pulling tall to the ceiling, shoulders down away from the ears. And we're just going to finish the practice with 2 shoulder rolls. Inhaling, sweeping the shoulders forward. Lifting up and exhaling as we pull the shoulders back behind us, opening the chest. 1 more. Inhaling, lifting up and exhaling. Thank you so much for joining me for this stretch and unwind class. I hope that you feel slightly better than when you started and that you are feeling more grounded and just peaceful within yourself. Thank you so much.